this. So originally Pandavas were the king for Hastinapur, but because of some reason they were out, and the temporary king was the Dhritarashtra, who was blind person, and his son was Duryodhan, and Duryodhan wanted to be the king. So that time when Pandavas came, they don't want to give their kingdom back. So that is the reason Krishna came into view, and he became also a peace ambassador, Santi Dut, and asking only 5 villages for Pandavas. Please give 5 villages. That is enough. Pandava will not ask anything, but still they were not agreeing to give the 5 villages also. That is the reason at last they have decided to have the war, and who will win, you will rule the kingdom. So this was decided. Then ultimately in the war, Arjun wanted to see who are the people they came to fight, this side and opposite side also. So Krishna took the chariot in between two armies, and there Arjun saw so many people, his relatives, his cousin brothers, his grandfather, his teachers on the opposite side. So he got confused whether it is right to fight. So there are 5 things Arjun did not want to fight. He told Krishna, it is very difficult to fight against this type of people who are really worshipable for me. Like grandfather Bhishma is worshipable for Arjun. How he will fight against grandfather? His teacher Drona is worshipable. How he can fight? So he developed, because of this 5 reasons, he did not want to fight. One is compassion. By seeing all the relatives, he became compassionate. Now, he was thinking there is no enjoyment. If all the people will die, alone Pandavas will be there. What is the enjoyment? Then it is sinful to kill this type of people who are their relatives, elders. Fourth one is all the family tradition will be lost, because uh, all the male person will be killed, then the family will be disturbed. So this is also a sinful activities according to Arjun. Indecision, he was not able to decide what is right and what is wrong. So ultimately he had left the Gandivas, its bows and arrows, and sat down and asking Krishna that please tell me what is right. I am fully disturbed. I am not able to decide what is right and what is wrong, whether to fight or not to fight. So this, he became fully confused. Then he surrendered to Krishna. Then he wanted Krishna to tell something which is right and which is wrong. So yesterday we have discussed this. Now today we'll start from the second chapter. Yeah. So here Arjun is telling, Karpanya dosa upahata svabhava pruchhami tvam dharma samodha chetaha yashreyasyan nishchitam bruhintan me sisyaste ham siddhimam tvam prapannam. I am confused fully. What is my duty? What is not the duty? And you are the best teacher. I now become your disciple and I am surrendered to you. Please instruct me what is right and what is wrong. So Arjun wanted to be a good student and he has accepted Krishna as a teacher. And he told that I am surrendering fully to you. Whatever you tell, I'll do. Just give me some advice, whether it is right to fight or not. Now, yesterday I told that in Bhagavad Gita, 5 things has been described. One is Iswara, the God, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, the time, and the activities, karma. So these 5 things has been described very nicely in Bhagavad Gita. And this is about the Iswara or the God. So in this picture you can see so how the God has been described by different people. Some people, if you'll ask what is God, some people they tell there is no God. And some people tell yes, God is there, but it's some type of energy. Some people will tell God do not have any form, and some people tell yes, God is having some form, but we don't know what is the form. And some people are so confident that God is having very beautiful form. So how we can describe all this thing? See, when you are seeing a mountain from long distance, how it looks just like an outline. Even a clear mountain will not be visible from long distance. Then you come little closer, then you can see there are trees inside the mountain. And you go still more closer, you'll see there is a beautiful bird sitting over the tree eating something, some fruits. So that means as you go closer and closer to the God, you will see the more clearer picture of the God. That is the concept. Next, so when you go very close to God, you will see the beautiful form of Lord Sri Krishna, so beautiful, and his activities. The activity, beautiful pastime of Lord Krishna. Okay, so this is the concept of God. Depending upon how much closer you are to the God, you will describe the God. How much closer or how much farther from the God, it is described. Okay, so another form is this. So God has been described in 3 stages. One is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So what is Brahman? Some people, I told you, long distance from the God, they will perceive God as a light. So actually this light is the surrounding the God, which is called Brahmayoti. Brahmayoti. They are far away from the God. They will see this light and they will think this is the God, and God do not have any form. So they goes on meditating, and the last is they will see this second one, Paramatma. So Paramatma is sitting in each and everybody's heart. So this is the end point of a meditator, a yogi. A yogi first think that God is a Brahman, a light. Then he goes on meditating and sees the form Paramatma. That's the end. But for you, like devotees, it is something different. It is few step more. You go still closer to the God and you see the very beautiful form of God, that is called Bhagavan. So there are 3 forms: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So for a devotee, God is always Bhagavan, the beautiful form and beautiful activities. Okay? Who am I? Am I the body? So here you can see the first picture. Our body consists of 5 elements: fire, earth, water, air, and sky. So when a person dies, all these components are separated from the body and disintegrate. So that means I am not the body, I am something else. What I am? Who I am? I am the soul. What is soul? Where it lies? What is the size, shape? What is its characteristic? That has also been described in Bhagavad Gita. Now, here you can see car and the driver. Now, when you see a car from long distance, what you will see? You will see only the car. The car is moving. You will see the car is moving. But when you come closer and closer, you will see there is a person behind inside the car. He's called driver. And he is moving the car. Car is not moving of its own. So, when you take care of the car, you have to give the petrol or diesel, whatever you want, you are giving. But that is not enough. You have to take care of the driver also. You have to give food also to the driver, then only car will move. Only feeding the car will not move, because driver is the main person who is driving the car. Okay. Similarly, this is the case, and inside there is a beautiful bird. Suppose you will take care of the case, what will happen? The bird will die. So you are taking care of case, it is okay. But the more important is you have to take care of the bird. You have to feed the bird also. Similarly, our body is like a case, and most of the time we take care of our case. We forget that there is a bird inside our body in the form of soul, and we do not take care of our soul. That is the reason we don't feel good. Even we take a lot of care of our body, still we are not peaceful. We are not happy. The reason is that we don't take care of our soul. If you want to be happy, if you want to be peaceful, you have to take care of both your body and the soul. Then you will be fully peaceful. So, for the material body, what we are seeing externally, for him we are feeding, we are giving food, drinks, anything, everything, every day. But what we are doing for the soul? And what is the food for the soul? What we are eating daily, is it the food for soul or anything extra? Anyone, please, can you give the answer? What is the food for soul?
Yes, sir. Sir, there's Venkat Subramanian. You
Yes,
can
please
unmute
unmute and
yourself.
ask, what is your opinion regarding food of the soul?
Actually, he lowered his hand.
Okay, okay.
Okay, says
Anyone?
there's Rishita. You can unmute yourself.
So the food of the soul is Prabhuji, it's peace and happiness.
Peace and happiness is the result. If you give something, then soul will be peaceful or our body will be peaceful. But what you will give so that you will get the peace? That is my question. Peace is the result of that.
Should I unmute someone else?
Yes, unmute.
Okay, there's Arna. You can unmute yourself.
Taking like God's name, like Krishna's name,
Yes,
is
yes,
a path to peace, and ultimately, indirectly, like our soul will also be peaceful.
yes. So that is okay. Any other person? Anyone else want to tell anything?
Yeah, there's Shwari Kamnath. You can unmute.
Yes.
Prabhuji, taking the name of Krishna.
Yes. Okay. So, the food for our body we know already. Food for the soul is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is the name of Krishna and Rama. In the Kali Yuga, this is the medicine for our soul. Not only food, it is the medicine for many things. Okay, so you have to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is that? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this mantra, if you will chant, this will purify your body, mind, and soul, everything. All the sin will go. So, this is the food for our soul, and soul will be very peaceful and happy. So, this is the food for our soul. Very nice. Now, this is a very small thing I'll tell. It has got many things, but uh, small information to you. What we see from outside, we are seeing our body only. That is called gross body. This is our total body picture. It has got three components. Outside, what we are seeing is called gross body. Inside gross body, there is another body which is called mind or mental body, or that is sometimes called subtle body. Subtle body. And inside the subtle body, there is another body which is called soul, or that is called spiritual body, or called spirit. So that means our body has got three components: gross body, mental body, and spiritual body. So the modern science today, what we are studying, mainly it is deal with the gross body. Modern science do not have uh, anything, any knowledge about mental body and spiritual body. So that is the reason whatever we are doing, whatever advancement we are doing in the science, we are not able to treat our body properly. Our body is not peaceful because we are dealing only one third of our body. If you want happiness and peace of our body, then we have to deal our body as a whole. That means all the three part of our body we have to deal. body, mind, and soul. Then only we'll have the permanent happiness. Okay. Next, dehinasmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti tirastatra namuhyati. So, dehinasmin yatha dehe kaumara yovanam jara. That means kaumara means childhood, yovanam means young age, jara means old age. So, how our body is changing? You can see here the child body is different, young age body is different, old age body is different. Our body is changing continuously from one to another form. So similarly, when our body becomes useless, unused, then our soul changes the body. Okay, our soul will change the body and will take another body. So the normal person who do not know this, they will be very sad when a person dies. But the intelligent person who knows this, he will not be so much sad because he knows that this is the soul. Soul cannot be destroyed. Soul passes away from one body to another body after death. Okay. Here you can see soul will take another body after death and not necessarily another human body. It depends upon the desire. So a human being dies, not necessarily he will take the human body. He may take any other body, like he may be animal, he may be plant, because all are living entities. Now, this is another example. A small kid, he'll use this tricycle. When he'll go to the school, he'll use this bicycle. He'll go to the college, he'll use this scooty. Then he'll be a little bigger, he'll go to office, he'll use this car. So as the age progresses, work progresses, you'll change the vehicles. Similarly, our soul also changing the vehicle, and the vehicle is the body. Now there are 84 lakh of species. So different species are the living organism. So it includes human being, different animals. You can see here different animals like monkey, tiger, lion, bears, and different other organisms like fishes, and the plants. Plants are also living organism. Now I'll ask one question, whether plant is living or non-living. Anyone can tell plant is a living organism or non-living, and why? Aditi? You can unmute anyone.
Yes, Prabhuji. There is P. Venkat Subramaniam.
Yes.
Please unmute.
Please tell what is your opinion about plant. Plant is living or non-living?
Sir, it's living, sir. It just do not move.
Yeah. So then why you are telling it is living? It do not move but living. Okay. But why you are telling it is living? What is the other evidence? Any other person, Aditi?
Yes, Prabhuji. There is Darshini. Darshini, please unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. According to me, plants are living, but they don't have a soul.
They don't have a soul. Why you are telling they don't have a soul?
Because they do not show pain or any feelings, but they're just eating, growing, and dying.
Any other person?
Yes, Prabhuji. There is Sadhya. Please unmute.
Yes.
Prabhuji, from my side, plants are living because they eat and they grow, they die, and they also breathe, so they are living.
Now
But
question
they
is,
do not show movement.
yes, my question is, Now previously somebody told plant do not have soul. Is it correct?
Prabhuji, no.
Plant has soul?
If a plant has soul, then it is living.
Yes, very good. Okay. So what is this? Here it is clearly mentioned there are 84 lakhs of species, and this species includes plant. That means the soul will go to each and every species. So in these 84 lakh, plant is also included. So the soul from the human body can go to the plant body, can go to the animal body. So definitely plant is having soul. Why? The soul is the living force. If soul is not there, then the body is dead. The plant is living. Why we are telling? Because it is growing, it is reproducing, there is flower, there are fruits, and it dies also. It takes food also. But this is because of living force, and this living force is the soul. If soul is not there, there is no difference between a living plant and dead plant. Okay, so it is clearly written here 84 lakh species. This includes plant, animal, human. So soul is there for all the living entities, including plants. Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, sorry, I'm interfering. Can you please ask unnecessary not to raise hands and write something in the chat, because it is getting disturbed to the screen.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
Please,
everybody.
everyone,
Please.
please don't raise your hands unnecessarily till Prabhuji asks or you get a chance to ask your doubt or you want to answer.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
So next we'll move on. Matra sparsestu kaunteya sitasna sukha dukkadaha agamya apyayina nitya tam titiksha bharataha. So matra sparsestu sitosna sukha dukkadaha. What is sito? Sitosna. Sitosna means sito and usna. So winter and summer. So like summer and winter are not permanent. Today winter season is there, tomorrow it will go. After a few days it will go. Similarly, summer comes, after a few days it will go. Similarly, sukha dukkha daha, since happiness and distress comes and goes, it do not stay permanently. So some people in the stage of distress, they commit suicide. So they are foolish people because they do not know that the distress is there, it will not stay permanently, it will go. So the intelligent person in the distress will not be disturbed. He knows that it will stay for some time and it will go. Okay, so the intelligent person knows this thing. That is the reason if happiness comes, he will not be very happy. If distress comes, he will also not so much bothered because he knows that it will come and this will go. This is the level of intelligence. So now this is the about the soul. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time, is unborn, eternal, and self-existing. So particularly the soul is part of the God, Supreme God, that is called Super Soul. Supreme God is called Super Soul, and we are the part of the God. So the Super Soul also do not take birth or there is no death. Similarly, our soul also there is no birth and no death. Soul is present eternally. That is the science of soul. Naina chindanti sastrani, naina dahati pavaka, na chainam kledante opo, no society marata. So what can be done for the soul? Soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapons, nor can be burned by fire, nor moistened by the water, nor weathered by the wind, withered by the wind. So this is the characteristic of soul. Soul is very small, very small. It cannot be cut with any knife or any instruments, any weapons, cannot be worn. Okay, so this is how the characteristic of soul. Now, when Arjuna is telling that I'll not fight, then Krishna is telling this word to Arjuna that why he should fight. He is telling, O son of Kunti, either you will be killed in the battlefield and attain the heavenly planet, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Arjun was telling there is no enjoyment. If in the battlefield everybody will die, there is no enjoyment. Why I should fight? So Krishna is giving this answer that if you are dying, you will go to heavenly kingdom and there you will enjoy. If you will win, then this kingdom is yours. You will be the king or somebody will be the king, you will enjoy. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. So Krishna is telling, I am telling you to fight. Better you fight. Okay. So here Krishna is instructing Arjun, no, it is always better to fight because I am telling there is no sin in fighting. So when we follow the Krishna, when we follow the God, then all the sinful activities abolishes. So there is no sin when you are doing for the God. For an example, I can give, Hanuman is a great devotee of Lord Rama. He went to Lanka, he burned full whole Lanka. He set fire to whole Lanka. Is it sinful activities? Anyone? Aditi, please unmute. Hanuman burned the whole Lanka, golden Lanka, into ashes. Is it a sinful activity?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Can you give me the
There
chance?
is Janab Boraj Devti. Please unmute.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Sir, it is right because he did it for God. Hanumanji did it for Lord Rama.
Yes. Any other person? Anyone thinking that it is a sinful activities?
Manan.
Yes.
Can you please unmute? Manan, please unmute. Pooja S, can you please unmute?
Yes, I think it's a sin. I think it's a sin because he burnt Lanka, and in Lanka there is Devi means Sita
Yes.
Mata also.
Okay. So you
What
think?
if the fire harmed her?
Yes. So you think that it is a sinful activity. Okay. 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 Any other person? Anyone else want to just tell whether it is sinful activities or not?
Rishi, can you please unmute?
I think it is not a sinful activity because God Hanumanji did it for Lord Rama himself, and he's a form of Supreme Lord. So
Yeah.
I think there is no. I
Yes.
don't think that's wrong.
Okay. So before someone told it is a sinful activity, so I'm just explaining her that it is not a sinful activity on the part of Lord Hanuman. Why? Because when you do something for an authority, Supreme God or any authority, it's not a sinful activities. Just I'm giving you one example. Suppose you are killing one person, then you will be punished by court or you'll be punished by police. But suppose you are a soldier, you are killing another soldier, you are Indian, you are killing some Pakistani soldier, whether your country will punish you? No, he will give you award because you are a soldier and this is your work and you did for the authority. Okay, so the killing is, though it is sinful, sometimes it is not sinful. you will not be punished. Similar, because you are working here for the country, for the protection of the country. Similarly, here Hanuman did it for the sake of Supreme Lord Rama. That's why anything you do for Krishna, Rama, Supreme Lord can never be sinful. So whatever you do for the Supreme Lord is always auspicious. It's never be sinful. Okay? So next we'll move on. So when Arjun was telling that I will not fight, Krishna was giving another example. Arjun is a great warrior and he is a Kshatriya. Suppose you will not fight, you will run away from the battlefield. What will happen? The people will just make fun of him. They will tell Arjun is a coward. Yes or no? Arjun is a coward, he could not fight and run away. So this is very painful for a Kshatriya to listen that he is a coward. So Krishna is giving the example, okay, you want to run away from the battlefield, you don't want to fight, okay, you don't fight, but how you'll survive when the people will make fun of you and they will tell that you are a coward? You cannot survive. That is more sinful, more offensive than this. Better to die in this battlefield. Okay? In this endeavor, there is no loss. In the little advancement in the path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So this is about the God. Anything you do for the God, advancement towards the God is always auspicious. Something you do for the God, you'll be saved from very great type of danger. That is the reason people tell, do some spiritual activities. And that will save you from the greatest danger of your life, because this material world is full of danger. Dukkhalayam asasatam. It will come in the succeeding chapters that material world is dukkhalayam asasatam. It is full of misery and non-permanent. It is very temporary. So that is the reason each and every step there is danger. And to get rid of this danger, you have to take the shelter of Supreme Lord, and it will save you from the greatest danger of this material world. Okay? Any small service for God is auspicious and it should be done. Now, in the right picture, who is this person? Anyone can tell? Hare Krishna. Aditi, you can unmute someone.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Who is this person?
Yeah,
Yes?
you can unmute. Diya,
Yes.
you can unmute. Hello.
Who is the person on the right?
Shivaji.
Shivaji. Okay.
Amal.
Any other person?
Then we have Pooja S.
Yes.
You can unmute.
Shivaji only, sir. It's on the right side, Nico. The right one.
This one, right side.
Hanumanji.
Yes, very nice.
When he's burning Lanka.
Yes. So what I was explaining, that he was burning the Lanka.
Sir, can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Sir, what was the answer Krishna ji gave to Arjuna when he asked that, should I fight or not fight?
Yes, we'll come to that. But he told you have to fight. Why he told you have to fight? We'll slowly discuss one by one chapter, because immediately I'll give answer means it will be a little difficult, because he told you have to fight, because they were not giving the kingdom. That is one thing, but that is not the ultimate. This Kauravas were very sinful people. They were doing lot of problem for other people also, not only for Pandavas. They were doing lot of problem for other people also. So that is the reason they have to be destroyed. That is the reason Krishna told, it is not for you, It is for the establishment of dharma, religious activities. You have to fight. Okay, Arjuna is telling, I don't want kingdom, I want peace. Okay, I'll run away. He may run away, but what about dharma? Who will establish the religion? For that only Krishna came, na? And Arjun should help Krishna in this, in his path. So to establish the religion, Arjun has to fight, not for his own enjoyment. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean Prabhuji,
Yes.
लंका में सब मोस्टली सब रावण के साथ उसके सब डीमंस और सब रहते हैं ना
Yes.
लंका में
हाँ.
लंका में लिटरली सब ही राक्षस तो रहते हैं ना
हाँ, उस टाइम में तो सब राक्षस ही रहते थे.
सर अभी कौन रहता है?
And now Lanka means it is the Sri Lanka where humans are there.
Oh. Sir, and one last question. Who was the king who had two sons? One was Pandu and one was Dhritarashtra. The king's name?
Okay, slowly we'll know. Actually, Pandu and Dhritarashtra were not the son of king. They are the son of Vedavyas, the great Rishi Vedavyas. We'll slowly discuss. They are the great son. They are the son of Rishi Vedavyas. Rishi Vedavyas, who has written Mahabharata. And
Oh.
okay. So slowly we'll discuss all those things. Now, can you tell what is in the left? Who is this person in the left?
Prabhuji, we have Navya.
Yeah.
You can please unmute.
Navya, please unmute.
Actually, she's unmuted, but she's not speaking.
Okay, maybe some problem.
Prabhuji, maybe she has any audio problem.
Yes, yes.
Dhriti, can you
So,
move on to the next person?
Yes. Then we have Arjuna. Can you please unmute?
Hello.
please. Who is the left person?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's Lord Rama. And the scene is like when Squirrel was helping in building that Setu. The like scene depicts this.
Yes. So both Hanumanji and the squirrel were working for Rama, trying to help Lord Rama. Hanumanji did a great work, very big work, but the squirrel was doing very small work. Just as he was keeping the dust. Is it useful? It's not that useful, but he was trying to help Rama. That is enough. Lord Rama blessed him. So the moral is any small work you do for Lord Krishna or Rama or Supreme Lord, it may be very insignificant, but it is definitely God will reciprocate. Suppose you are doing something for your friend, maybe after some times you will forget. Oh no, you have not done anything for me, you will tell. But the God will never tell this thing. Krishna will never tell like this. Always he will reciprocate. Any small work you do for Krishna, definitely he will reciprocate to you. That is the moral of this story. Okay. So in the Kali Yuga, the main process of spirituality, the spiritual process is chanting the holy name of Krishna and Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So beautifully they are chanting and they are so peaceful. So this is the medicine for Kali Yuga. Okay. So this is in summary what we have learned today. So we have to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. So when you understand that you are not the body, you are the soul, your spiritual process starts. Your spiritual process starts when you understand you are not the body, you are the soul. Happiness, sadness comes and goes like summer and winter. It won't last for long. So we should not be disturbed by this. We should surrender to Krishna. Always chant Krishna to be happy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is all about the chapter. Shall we take some questions?